Ha! Little do I know what kind of life jacket he will turn out to be. To my dismay, I have not been able to parlay my time working on the skit with Tiffany into anything bigger. This is partly because she is the busiest person in the 8th grade, with more clubs and committees and activities than any normal person could ever be involved with. It is also because I am stupid about this kind of thing and don't have the slightest clue how to do it. So, I treasure my memory of the 2 rehearsals and, more than anything else, the sound of her laughing at some of what I have done. Despite my prayers, Friday arrives. I don't suppose I really expected God to cancel it, though I would have been deeply appreciative if he had. I go through the day in a state of cold terror. The drama club meeting is after school. Members of the club have invited their friends, their families, and some of the teachers to see the skits. There are going to be 4 skits in all. Tiffany, Laurel, and I are scheduled to go last, which gives me more time to sweat and worry. Mikey is backstage with us, but Tiffany does not know why. I tell her he came because he is my pal. Getting him aside, I check to make sure he has the script. At 2:45, Mrs. Whitcomb, the drama club coach, comes back to wish us luck. She makes a little speech which ends with, "Okay, kids, break a leg." This, of course, is how people wish each other luck in the theater. According to my mother, the idea is that you're not going to get your wish anyway, so if you wish for the thing you don't want, and you may get the thing you do want instead. I suddenly wonder if this is what I have been doing wrong all my life. On the other hand, Tiffany is standing next to me, so that is one wish that is continuing to come true. "Are you excited?" she asks. "You have no idea," I answer with complete honesty. Laurel, who is standing on the other side of me, whispers, "I'm scared." "Don't worry, you'll be fine," I reply. I'm fairly confident this is true, since I expect to make such an ass of myself that no one will notice anything else anyway. Inside me, a small voice is screaming, "What were you thinking of, you moron? You are going to humiliate yourself in front of all these people, including the girl you would cut out your heart for, who will be even more humiliated than you are because it's her skit and you are messing it up. Run away! Run away!" If I could get my hands on this small voice, I would gladly beat it to a bloody pulp. Instead, I keep taking deep breaths and reminding myself of how funny I was during the rehearsals. The first skit goes up. I think it's funny, but at first, no one laughs. This terrifies me all over again. Then, someone snickers. A moment later, someone else lets out a snort. Pretty soon, everyone is laughing. Clearly, it takes people a while to get warmed up when they are trying to have fun. At first, the sound of that laughter is soothing, but it only takes a few minutes for me to get terrified by it. What if they don't laugh at our skit? Even worse, what if they laugh at the wrong reasons? What if Tiffany is totally humiliated and it's all my fault? I go back to wanting to die. The second skit goes up and dies in my place. It just lies on stage, stinking the place up like a week-old fish. It's as boring as last month's newspaper. In fact, it's almost as boring as Mr. Fessenden, which I would not have thought possible. I feel a surge of hope. We can't look worse than this. In fact, next to it, we'll seem like geniuses. Too bad we can't go on right away. Unfortunately, we have to wait for the third skit, which turns out to be brilliant, which makes me want to kill the people who are in it. Now we'll be compared to them instead of the dead fish of the second skit. The curtain closes. "Our turn," whispers Tiffany. "Break a leg, Murphy." "Break a leg," I murmur back. Then, so Laurel won't feel left out, I say the same thing to her as we pick up the table that is our main prop and move it onto the stage. Tiffany is right behind us with a pair of chairs. Once they're in place, we scurry to our positions. Tiffany and me, stage right, Laurel, stage left. My stomach clenches. Cold sweat starts out on my brow. "Murphy," hisses Tiffany. "Your shoelace." I glance down. I've forgotten to untie it, which is the key to one of my funny bits. Out of habit, I lift my foot to take care of the lace. At that instant, the curtain opens, which startles me so much that I lose my balance and fall over. landing on stage in full view of the audience. There they are, the enemy, the people who are going to stare at me, judge me, whisper about me tomorrow. I am so frozen with terror I cannot move. I just lie there looking at them. And then the laugh begins. My temperature goes in two directions, my blood turning to ice at the same time that the heat rises in my face. I have a long moment of terror. Well, it feels like a long moment. According to Mikey, it was less than 2 seconds. While I think that this is it, I will never stand up again, never come to school again, never leave my house again, I will ask whoever finally picks me up to carry me home and put me in the attic. My parents will have to shove my meals through a slot in the door because I will never be able to face another living human being. Love saves the day. "Murphy, are you all right?" hisses Tiffany. For the sound of that voice, I would do anything, even get back on my feet. And then the second miracle. Some brilliant portion of my brain realizes that this is comedy, and I have just started us off with a big laugh. I stand at the edge of the stage to do a fake knock-knock. In rehearsal, I only mimed it. Now, for some reason, I say loudly, "Knock-knock, knockity-knock-knock." To my surprise, the audience finds this funny. Another laugh. Tiffany comes to the door, and we go through our opening business, which establishes that she is prim and proper, and I am a total idiot, which doesn't take much acting because it is pretty much real life anyway. But something is happening. I'm not making up lines, but I am making bigger gestures, broader moves, weirder voices than I did in rehearsal. People are howling. Tiffany's eyes are dancing, and I can see that she is trying not to laugh. I am feeling like a genius. We get to the imaginary restaurant. Laurel comes out to take our order, and I have the same effect on her. I am starting to feel as if I am having an out-of-body experience. Who is this funny person making everyone laugh? How long can it go on? Can I keep it going? Keep cranking up the jokes? Hold on to this glorious lightning bolt I'm riding? Laurel disappears to get our order. I fake blowing my nose on the cloth napkin, then inspecting it to see the results. I act as if I'm fascinated by my imaginary boogers. Tiffany acts as if she's repulsed, but I can see she is hardly able to keep from bursting into laughter, especially when I hand the napkin across the table so that she can examine it too. The audience is just about screaming. I am beginning to think that this kind of laughter is even better than the sound of Tiffany's voice. Laurel comes back with our order, which, because this is a skit and we are on low budget, is a plate of Hostess cupcakes, chocolate. I'm supposed to eat in a disgusting way. The script does not specify how. Still riding my wave of improvisation, inspiration, I pick up a cupcake and stuff the entire thing into my mouth. Tiffany's eyes widen and she turns her head to hide the laugh she can't hold in. Her shoulders are shaking. This is too good to be true. I deliver my next line, which is about how beautiful she is, with bits of chocolate spewing out. It's disgusting, but hilarious. Tiffany has tears streaming down her cheeks from trying to hold in her laughter. Desperate to keep the riff going, I cram another entire cupcake in my mouth. This is when disaster strikes. Suddenly, I discover that I can't breathe because there is a chocolate logjam in my throat. I only need a minute, I think, and I'll get this. I try to give my next line, but nothing comes out. Tiffany looks alarmed. The audience is still laughing, but the laughter is starting to die down as if some of them realize I am in trouble. Which is when Mikey comes barreling on stage from behind me screaming, "He's choking! He's choking!" Then he grabs me around the waist and jabs his fist into my belly. I've been Heimlicked. Those of you who know about the Heimlich maneuver will remember that basically it forces the air out of your lungs, blowing whatever is blocking your breathing out of your mouth. Those of you who have been staging this in your mind as you read will remember who is directly across from me. Those of you with even minimal powers of prediction will know what happens next. An unholy mix of partially chewed Hostess cupcakes spews out of my mouth and splatters all over Tiffany. I am filled with deeper horror than any I have ever known. Wrenching my way out of Mikey's grasp, I bolt around the table to clean her off. Unfortunately, the table is close to the edge of the stage. Too close. Tripping over my untied shoelace, I hurtle headfirst into the darkness. My body makes some very unpleasant sounds as it lands. Okay, I probably could have accepted the broken leg. I might have even been able to live with the memory of the look on Tiffany's face. But when the ambulance guys came and put me on a stretcher and everyone stood there watching as they rolled me out of the school, and Mikey followed after them to tell me that my fly had been open during the entire fiasco, I really thought that was too much. Anyway, that's how I ended up in this hospital bed, staring at my right leg, which is up in traction. Tiffany came to visit a while ago. That would have been wonderful, except she brought along her boyfriend, Chuck. He goes to another school and is old enough to drive. Something inside me died when she introduced him. To make things worse, and what doesn't, it turns out that Chuck was in the audience yesterday. "You were brilliant, man," he says, "at least until the part where it all fell to pieces." I want to shove a Hostess cupcake down his throat. After they are gone, Mikey shows up. "Tough luck, Murphy," he says, looking at my cast. I try to remember that he is my best friend and really thought he was saving my life when he Heimlicked me. It's not easy. "Cheer up," he says. "It couldn't get any worse than this." He's lucky my leg is in traction and I can't get out of bed. He's also lucky I don't have a cupcake on me. After Mikey leaves, I make two decisions. A, I'm going to change my name. And B, I never want to be 13 again as long as I live. There is another knock on my door. "Hello, Murphy," says a soft voice. It's Laurel. She smiles shyly. "Can I come in?" I've never noticed how pretty she is when she smiles. For a brief moment, I think life may not be so bad after all. I am fairly certain, however, that this is a delusion. After all, my name is still Murphy Murphy, and I'm still 13 years old. I don't even want to think about what might happen next.